In my opinion, one of the biggest mistakes that I see salespeople making is that they don't make a specific decision about how they want to impact the prospect, how they want to approach them in the introduction, how they want the presentation to go. They just kind of are meandering around and they have no idea what they're trying to accomplish. Now, this is especially problematic in the introduction or opening pitch because what happens is that salespeople are usually trying to make the prospect feel comfortable and to respect them all at the same time. And those two things are completely different. Now, many times I'll make a decision about which of these two approaches I want to use based on how I feel that day. Some days I'm like, got confidence through the roof. I'm pumped. I'm excited about my business. And it's all about the respect. And I'm going to talk to you about that in the next few videos. And so when I go in there, I'm not trying to make them feel comfortable with me. I'm really not even trying to make them like me. I'm trying to get them to respect me, where they feel like this is somebody I respect. You know, it's kind of irrelevant whether or not I like my lawyer or whether or not my lawyer makes me feel comfortable. What I actually want from my lawyer is I want a lawyer that I respect, that understands the law a lot better than I do. Same thing with my CPA. Same thing with my doctor. And so as a sales professional, certainly you can be somebody that's more of the kind of therapist route, which, you know, again, if you're going to go to a therapist, you definitely want to respect them, but that's really secondary. The first thing is you got to feel comfortable with them because you really want to open up to somebody, and you're not going to do that if that person is just all about respect me, respect me, respect me. That's not going to work. You got to be comfortable with them in order for you to open up. Same thing with a pastor. You know, there's all these different positions where it varies. And so what will happen is on a day-to-day basis in sales, a top salesperson, even on a prospect by prospect basis, will walk into that business and make that decision about, am I going to try to make this person comfortable with me, or am I going to try to get them to respect me? But the most important thing you understand is that these are two different things, totally different. Your approach when you walk in is totally different. And what I find most often, if you're a salesperson that's new to sales, let me give you a tip. Forget about respect. Don't even try it. It's incredibly difficult to get somebody to respect you in 30 seconds. Okay? It's not possible if you're brand new and you have no idea what you're doing. So stop trying that. And here's the problem. Again, going back to the introductory video, you watched, Brian Tracy and you watched Tom Hopkins and you're like, oh, I got all these great tactics, all these great lines. I'm going to go in there and this person is just going to respect me and they're going to love me and they're going to feel comfortable with me. No, they're not, because you don't understand the sales flow and you don't know how to direct the sales flow yet. So if you don't know how to direct that sales flow and how to kind of turn it the way that you want and get people to respect you, then just don't. Just jump into their world, go back and watch the last 5 videos over again and jump into their world and match them and match their tone and match their rate of speaking and just have a great conversation with them and make them feel comfortable with you. And that will allow you to move on to the next phase. Now, for those of you that you do understand sales, you've been in sales a long time, you feel like you have a little bit of a gift for sales, and you want to really try something that the pros do, well, then you can make an introduction that's all about gaining their respect, not their comfort level, not getting them to necessarily like you. It's all about getting them to respect you and getting them to want to receive more value from you that you have to offer. In other words, you have something they want. They see you and you just exude this confidence that they really want. And if you can make that happen, well, then you're going to be doing pretty good and you can create a lot of respect. The beauty of creating respect versus comfort is that the salesperson that knows how to generate respect from the prospect, they're able to just move a lot quicker. I can get a sale closed a lot faster than a salesperson that's just people feel comfortable with them. And so they kind of, have to cautiously and carefully move forward without losing that comfort. Because again, closing a sale is many times uncomfortable. Presenting value can sometimes be uncomfortable. And so what happens is that the salesperson whose entire approach is based around comfort, the problem with that is that, it can take a little longer to close the sale. But again, understand, trying to generate respect in the sales process is It's like you see on these commercials and stuff, don't try this at home, right? Don't try this in the field if you're not a sales professional. If you're not willing to invest a ton of time in understanding human interaction and communication, and you're not willing to put in 8 hours a day out in the field or on the phones talking to people, if you're not willing to be cognizant of what's happening in those interactions, taking notes, role playing with family and friends, if you're not willing to put in the work to be amazing at sales, forget about respect. Just make people feel comfortable, and then you can move on to the information stage, which we'll talk about in the next section. But in this section, I wanted to make this specifically for those of you're doing pretty good at sales, and you're like, man, I really want to take this thing to the next level. Let me explain to you in the next few videos how you can create an emotional response of respect from a first-time prospect.